For a lot of us, the NFL season is basically over. Our team is already eliminated from the playoffs or so close to being eliminated with 2 weeks left that you know it's not a matter of if, but when, and whether it's week 16 or week 17 where it happens. Yet for others of you, your team may have already clinched the playoffs, but trying to clinch seeding and so forth, and still others have a couple of weeks yet where a lot of things can still be decided. So it's an interesting mix right now. As for me, this season's over. Not that surprisingly either, unfortunately. The reality struck many, many weeks ago. Tried to maintain positivity for reasons unbeknownst to me, knowing that inevitably it was going to go one way and not in a positive way. But nonetheless, we are here. Let's go ahead and make our picks for Week 16 of this 2019 NFL season. Last week, I could say 10-6 with winners, 10-6 against the spread. Let's just ride out the string and see what happens. You got a triple header, I believe, all on the NFL Network Saturday. So looking forward to this, just being able to sit down, get away from work, get my mind off other things, and just be able to watch football all day. Should be a good time. The first game, the Texans, with stuff still on the line, traveling to Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers, where they really don't have anything left on the line. The Texans are 3-point favorites, which makes sense. They're the better team. They have something to play for where the Buccaneers do not. Really hard to pick the Buccaneers one way or another from 1 week to the next because Jameis Winston can throw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Who the hell knows? But you look at this Texans team on the road. You know, Jameis is still kind of playing for something. Worst case scenario, Jameis is trying to get himself the franchise tag from the Bucs in 2020. You know, this feels like one of those weeks where coming off an emotional game last week for the Texans, now they go road game. Feels like it could be a bit of a trap for them, especially looking ahead to Week 17. So I'm actually going to pick the Bucs to win here. Give me the Bucs plus the 3. The middle game on Saturday, the Bills traveling to New England to take on the Patriots. This is still really, really interesting. Still quite a bit at stake here. For the Bills, their defense is legit, and you would expect that they would create some problems for Tom Brady and that New England Patriots offense. On the flip side of that, Josh Allen has showed some growth and development in year number 2, but he is far from a finished product, that is for sure. And this Bills offense can still struggle points, and that Patriots defense is pretty good still. So rematch from earlier on in the season where the Patriots won. You look at this game, it's in Foxborough. You would expect a bit of a bounce back here for the Patriots. I like the Patriots to win, but 6.5 points. I like the Bills to cover the 6.5 point spread. The late game on Saturday, you got the Rams traveling to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. Still got plenty at stake here. The Rams coming off of last week's embarrassing loss to the Cowboys in Dallas have to win their last 2 games if they have any type of shot whatsoever at the playoffs. Meanwhile, the 49ers, still need to win out in order to win the division. They're trying to lock down the division. They're trying to lock down a first-round bye, potentially the top overall seed. So a lot of stakes in this game here. So my hope is that the level of play of the game matches the stakes that are there. In terms of this matchup, I saw a lot out of the Rams last week on the road that I really didn't like. The 49ers, I'm still not 100% convinced and sold on them, especially since they just lost last week to the Falcons. Therefore, I expect a bit of a bounce back this week. Give me the 49ers to win minus the 6.5. Switching over to the Sunday slate of games. Got the Jaguars traveling to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. The Falcons just beat the 49ers on the road at the last second last week. So, yeah, you got to pick them to win here. Do I like the 7-point spread? I don't know. It feels a bit high, but maybe it's not. I'll kind of split the differences. I think the Jags will cover the 7-point spread. You got the Ravens traveling to Cleveland to take on the Browns, trying to avenge an early season loss to Cleveland. Imagine thinking about that if you're the Ravens. Ooh, we got handled pretty good by Cleveland early on in the season. Well, the Ravens are 9-point favorites here. The Browns are a mess. While they're mathematically still alive in the playoff race, for all intents and purposes, they are done. Give me the Ravens minus the 9, and let's officially bury the Browns and welcome them back! Welcome them back to the land of being the skid marks of the National Football League, because while they are not the worst team in the league, they were actually a team with expectations this year. And they have massively underdelivered to them. That is as much skid mark behavior as being the worst team in the league and living up to those expectations. You've got the Saints traveling to Tennessee to take on the Titans. I will take the Titans to win plus the 2 in a bit of an upset here. Look at the Titans. It's an absolute must-win game for them. They're hosting. Maybe the Saints get caught a little off guard here this week. I don't really know. The Panthers travel to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. Give me the Colts minus the 6.5. The Bengals travel to Miami to take on the Dolphins. At one point in time, you might have thought it was going to be the Burrow Bowl, but I don't even know if it's going to be that. Well, Miami, you've already shot yourself in the foot, basically, on the number 1 overall pick. You might as well win out here. Let me take the Dolphins to win plus the 1. The Steelers travel to New York to take on the Jets as 3-point favorites. And you're already hearing the rumblings. Surprise. You hire a failed coach from within the division to come to your show, and the offense is not good, and players don't respect Adam Gase. Big flippin' surprise. Like, who could have seen this coming? Who? Anyways, you look at this game and you say for the Steelers, coming off of the loss to the Bills on Sunday night, it's an absolute must-win for them to stay in the playoff race in the AFC. For the Jets, they have nothing to play for other than spoiler at this point. Again, this is one of these tricky games for me because where I feel like Tomlin might be doing his best coaching job, this is also one of these games traditionally in previous years, road game against a bad team that the Steelers would underperform. So I'm going to stick with history, even though they've gone a little against that history this year. I'm going to pick the Jets to win in an upset. Give me the Jets plus the 3. Then you got the Giants and the Eli Manning tour rolling one more time into Washington to take on Dwayne Haskins and the Redskins. Give me the Redskins minus the 1.5. The late Sunday games. Give me the Broncos minus the 7 over the Lions. Oakland traveling to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers. Man, them Raiders fans got awful quiet real quick. Give me the Chargers to win, but I think the Raiders can cover the 7-point spread. And then give me the Seahawks minus 9.5 over the Cardinals. The Sunday night game. Give me Kansas City by 1,000,000 over the Bears. I hope Mahomes and the Chiefs breaks them off something proper in prime time on Sunday night. I hope he goes in there and lights their ass up, and any real Bears fan should hope for the same thing. The hell are you going to cheer for the Bears to win this game for? For what? For pride? F pride. We're about sending messages, and the message needs to be sent is that the quarterback the Bears should have taken in the 2017 draft comes into Soldier Field and lights up the team that passed on him. That is the only solution that any real Bears fan should be hoping for on Sunday. You get nothing out of the win other than hurting your draft position in the second round. What? Made you give up a little bit less of a worse pick to the freaking Raiders in the first round? Who gives a crap at this point? It already doesn't belong to you. What difference does it make? And it's not like the Raiders are making the playoffs anyway, so who cares? Give me the Chiefs minus the 6, and I hope they beat them by 30. I hope they beat the brakes off of them. I hope Mahomes has like a historic day on him. Because apparently that's what it's going to take to get the message across. It's one thing to see Mahomes and what he does and his offense does and his team does on a week-in, week-out basis when it's not actually directly impacting the Bears. Well, here's the chance for it to directly impact the Bears. I hope they beat the brakes off of them. And if I see any Bears fans talking about, wait, hope they win, why? You deserve to be clowned. Ain't no real fan. For what? Exactly. And then Monday night, big marquee NFC North game. The division on the line here. The Packers traveling to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. This should be a really, really good, fun, interesting game. I'm still a believer in the fact that the Packers are not as good as their 11-3 record indicates. And I think probably a lot of other people agree with that assessment, up to and including some Packers fans. Now, as a Bears fan, what I know, Packers just beat us twice, but that ain't really saying much. I like the Vikings in this matchup. I think it'll be close. Maybe a field goal at the end wins it. I'll take the Vikings to win, the Packers to cover the 5.5-point spread. That's my picks for the week. Enjoy them, mock them, criticize them. Who cares? It's just picks. It's not life. Unless you're betting based off of my picks, and hopefully we're able to win something this year, although I would question the logic of this year of all years, why you would pick and use my money or use my picks in Vegas. I don't know why, but you want to get nuts? Let's get peanuts. All right, see you later.